Hey guys, this is Lena with Glass Factory. I'm here with Mothica to talk about their latest releases and what's going on next. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I just got back from a Thanksgiving excursion. We decided to drive to Colorado from LA. So it was about 1,000 miles.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's quite
yeah.
a drive.
It's probably won't do that again. Probably won't. But
Really?
yeah, I like to avoid airplanes when it's like bad weather because I just get anxiety about it.
Right.
But I was like, I think I'll face my fears over 2 days in the car. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, was it really snowy? Because from speaking from experience, at least like if you're going up I-5 or like, and then going east toward Blue Mountain area in California, it gets very
Yes.
snowy at this time of year.
Yes, it was very snowy and we like hit the like snowy like ski area at night. So we didn't
Mhm.
even see how pretty it was. But it was like, yeah, like an hour of just like snowy like conditions. But it was pretty. I definitely like miss having seasons and I love
Yeah.
snow and wearing jackets.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. So, like, was it really icy or anything, or was it fairly clear?
No, it was only like really cold in the mornings and then during the day it would be like 50 degrees, 50, 60 degrees. So I brought like my giant like fur coats. I was like so excited about like a snowy like holiday, but no, I think it takes a while to get that cold.
Yeah, I haven't been to Colorado, so I've always wondered what the weather's like. I've heard it's just kind of unpredictable.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen in your social media that you collect some stuff while you're on tour. So, what is the
Yes.
favorite thing that you picked on this latest round of tour?
Ooh. I got some, I don't know if I would have anything in here, but I stopped in a shop in Boston and it was owned by this like dancer who was like she's 99 and she's still
Mm.
running this vintage shop and she has these like books of her like dancing days and I got this really cool 1930s like it's a butterfly like bronze statue.
Oh, cool.
Super cool. I love like yeah, oddities, taxidermy, vintage things, but something easy that I collect is like fridge magnets, but I decided to only make them black, white, or chrome or gold. So it makes it very difficult because you always see the fun ones and I'm like, oh, why did I try to make this aesthetically pleasing? So I'm always looking for magnets in every place I go.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really neat. I love finding little things whenever I travel, especially like if you find that really cool vintage shop, there's always a really cool story behind wherever they come in, and that sounded like a really cool
Yes, I
opportunity.
love antique malls and just they're so overwhelming, but like so fun.
Going to the Nocturnal Deluxe release, what was your favorite
Ah.
track on there and why?
Ooh, that's tricky because they
Mhm.
all are so different, like
Yeah.
sounding. And that was kind of the issue of why I didn't put them on Nocturnal. The one I really wanted to put on Nocturnal was Star. It was just a little softer. It was more like, I don't know, I just view it as more like golden and sunshiny feeling to me. And I was
Mhm.
like, this is a nighttime album. So that one I just couldn't make
Mhm.
work in the like track listing. And then one of the last songs I did for it was Night Shift, which was I think a lot of people's favorites, but it's a lot more like I don't know, trap inspired. It's more like fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um
they definitely have different vibes, but I found it kind of surprising that you found Star a little bit more daytime. It's just an
really.
interesting report. Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I kind of I guess it kind of makes sense because it like it does shine a bit on its own in its own way. But yeah.
Yeah, I think cuz I don't know, maybe because it was more like softer guitars and I really
Yeah.
wanted the album to have this more eerie, like spooky aesthetic to it. But I love that one so much. And it was also, I had the song REM and STAR. There were two acronyms. And so
Right.
I was like, can I have multiple acronyms? But I think I was overthinking
Yeah,
it.
I think you were overthinking it because
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until just now. So,
Yeah. It was just a fun, like, I was going through a phase where I was like, I want an acronym song. And it's always like a fun challenge to try to like make a word mean something else.
yeah, for sure. And STAR was pretty cool with the acronym, so tragic and rare. So,
Yes.
yeah, super cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about the meaning of that then?
Yeah, sure. Star, the first verse I wrote actually kind of inspired by when I had just watched the like Billie Eilish documentary
Mm,
and her song, Everything I Want, Everything I Ever Wanted. I think
mm,
that's what it's called. But about her like feeling like she could be standing at like the edge of the Golden Gate about to jump and everyone's just going to be there like taking photos and
mm,
like that's not really my experience, but how I've always been chasing this success or like um this fame, I guess, and how as I've gotten little bits and tastes of success, how like scary that's been and how like lonely, alienating, and the more people you attract, there's so many amazing fans that are so creative and respectful, but there's also it lets in these like more sinister like people, and how it's just kind of a song about chasing fame, I guess.
mm,
How I think I've always like, because a lot of my songs are about really tragic things I've gone through, they're almost like I feel like I put that out there, and then when that's the thing that gets attention, it's almost like I'm just like reliving and
mm.
re-traumatizing myself to like make art.
Right.
So that's what Star's about. Um and a lot
Hmm.
about the Los Angeles like beauty standards. Uh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's honestly such a concrete message, and I think it's really relevant for people that are wanting to be creative because, you have to push for that relevancy, especially in social media and stuff too, right?
Totally. And like a lot of my most successful songs are the ones about the most um difficult things. Like, Buzzkill is about like me being assaulted,
Hmm.
Vice is about sobriety, and Forever 15 is about a suicide attempt. So it's like,
Right,
ooh, like it's a weird thing to like have to write about that constantly and promote it and not
right.
like feel like your heart's being like torn open every time you talk about it.
Yeah, and then sharing it with people too on top of that, just something so personal and deep, and like you have to, and then sharing that with an audience too. I bet that that's
Yeah.
pretty challenging in its own
It
ways
is.
too.
It's especially hard. It's not hard to like maybe write the songs, but to like promote them and like
Yeah.
sing them and to talk about what it means. I think a lot of that influenced me making Nocturnal because I was like, oh, I don't want to be like really vulnerable. I mean, I'm always vulnerable, but I didn't want to like wear all these experiences, and I wanted to try to write some more empowering, more angry songs and more, I just wanted more energy. And so that's why Nocturnal was had this like little bit of rock inspiration
Mm.
behind it. Um but I got that out and now I'm back to talking about the worst times of my life. So
Mm.
um yeah.
Yeah, and sharing that with an audience, I'm sure that that's like difficult in its own way, but also I know it relates to a lot of people. It's why they're like rising and becoming more and more successful. You're saying things that a lot of people aren't saying.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, I definitely, it's hard to tell the impact online. I think I don't really like, I don't read a lot of messages or comment honestly
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah.
But we played shows and I would do these like meet and greets for fans. And I will stand there until the very last person comes to talk to me. So I'm there for an hour, 2 hours sometimes. And that's really when I got to hear the impact and like have people tell me their stories. But I kind of go into this mode of like being just a listener, you know, I'm not like,
Mm.
they're just telling me about them. And so I get to like kind of not think about my experience, but like really have empathy for like what they're telling me and how they've been through something similar. And oh, that just like brings up so many emotions, just meeting people who have, you know, gone through addiction, sobriety, assault, like
Yeah.
all of these very heavy subjects. But I know that once I release a song, you know, I kind of like, it's no longer like my
Hmm.
song. It's really like anyone that listens to it will put themselves into it. And so that's how I have to think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if your focus is on something so personal too. You
Yeah.
and then you just have to give that out to people.
Yes, I'm always jealous of my friends that are making just like really fun like club songs or just like their show like DJs and their just shows to like everyone just like, you know, but that's not me. And like but it does take a lot of like emotions to just speak honestly about it every night and tell my story.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's really inspirational, honestly, just to see how open you are in front of your audience, even like on social media and meet and greets. And yeah, it's just really inspirational to just listen to your messages and hear your story.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Like, what were some of the challenges you faced along the way in creating the voice you found today?
Ooh, yeah, I think for me, I definitely learned, like I said, some of those top songs of mine were
Mm-hmm.
the ones where I was like, oof, I don't know if I should write about this honestly. Like it's a
Mm.
little too much for me. Those are the songs that connected with people. And I think in the beginning, I always wanted to talk about my experiences really buried in metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, shocker, like people related to the ones that were more straightforward and more diary like.
Mm.
So now that I knew that, even though I didn't want to believe that, I was like, okay, I need to like really put it all out there and say actually what I want to say and not, you know, translate it in some deep, like poetic wording, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely a way to do both, and I think you do
Yes,
manage that.
for sure.
Yeah, and that's really cool. But speaking on the visuals behind your concepts, your lyrics are at least in Nocturnal and even in Blue Hour, they kind of just speak to the outsiders, people that feel a little bit like the outsiders. So how did you create visual ideas while you were writing your songs? It's very evident that you like had a visual in mind.
Yeah, I'm very visually like driven, very, you know, I started out in like more visual art. So even when I'm singing, I think of melodies in my head as like shapes.
Hmm.
So the visual concepts of like the album or EP or songs always like come to me first.
Hmm.
So with like Nocturnal, I really was like diving into this uh nighttime theme, sleep
Mm-hmm.
theme. And so I would have this like list of like song titles that I wanted to that looked cohesive together.
Right.
And then I would try to like basically work backwards and try to, you know, whatever, um, like lullaby. I was like, what's that gonna sound like? Like, how can I spin that other than just like a lullaby song, you know? Um, so I like kind of write my dream like track list and then I go in and see if I can actually make a good song out of it.
Hmm.
But I'm always thinking of like the music videos too with it and I always have these like crazy ideas I can't afford. So hopefully over time I'll get to do that. But yeah, it's been really cool because I'm in the middle of writing the third album.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's definitely feels like even more cohesive than anything. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
really? That's
Yeah.
cool. That's really exciting. Any details you want to share or are able to share?
Yeah. Yeah, Nocturnal was kind of this like, I don't know. I viewed it as like this empowered kind of like fantasy
Hmm.
version of me of this like really like bold version.
Hmm.
And the album I'm working on right now is kind of more about like my upbringing, more it's more personal to just me as like Mackenzie.
Hmm.
Um and I'm with Nocturnal I kind of tried to mix two genres, like have this hard rock edge with pop and then have these like 50s aesthetic 50s songs and the interludes.
Yeah.
So this album I'm working on right now, I'm also combining two very different genres. Um, will not sound like what I've made at all. Um,
That's exciting though.
yeah, it is. But if I tell it to you right now, which maybe I will, you're gonna be very confused until you hear it. But it has like a Tarantino Western
Oh,
vibe,
cool.
but mixed with like dark wave synths. Like, yeah. So
Okay. Ooh, I'm looking forward to hearing that. That's interesting.
and I don't know why my brain is just always trying to like mesh like two opposites. Um, but
It
yeah,
works though, the way you're doing
yeah.
it. It definitely works. And it's very different, really unique, and really powerful messages. I don't know, the way your brand of music, no matter what it sounds like, I think you have whatever it is, even if it's totally different sounds, all mixing together.
Thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's hard because I always like want to, I'm very easily, I don't know, easily swayed, but like people's opinions definitely affect me, which is why I try
Mm.
to like not ingest them. Um,
Yeah.
and so like this new album Nocturnal got me on all these rock festivals and I'm definitely like I love, I mean, rock music, that's what I grew up on, but
Hmm.
like my music is always the more poppier version. It's
Yeah.
never like I don't ever scream or anything. And so I'm hoping people stay along with me on this next one because it'll still be really dark, but it will be, yeah, there's not going to be like a metal guitar. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, if not, that would be interesting. And if so, I could imagine it working. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I as somebody that got to see you at one of those festivals, it was
Oh,
really,
yay.
really cool to like, because like I do think you fit in with a metal audience, but you also set yourself apart. And it was just very cool to like see you at the stage with an audience. You drew in quite a crowd. It was really cool.
I think um yeah, rock music talks about darker like subjects.
Yeah.
So even when I was making electronic indie music, I always would have like the harder rock fans or like these metal guys would like my music and um because of the subject matter. But
Yeah.
the way I sing is more inspired by like I don't know, the band Daughter or like
I
it's
love
just
Daughter.
I'm just softer singing. So yeah, it's gonna be like simultaneously like way like I don't know, more pop and more bright,
Yeah.
but so like this I have this whole narrative. I won't share yet, but like
Yeah.
it's gonna look like it's a metal album when you read the titles.
Hmm. Cool. That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing more about it.
Yeah, what festival were you at?
Aftershock.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I it's one of my favorite festivals. I look forward to it every year. I don't live too far away from there either, so it just like I love going there. It's one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, it was nice just like driving up to that instead of flying, as I
Yeah,
said.
I bet.
But
It's a nice
um,
drive too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not driving ever. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
drive, but not like to the festivals.
Right. Yeah. How can we support you in your music journey?
Um, I guess, yeah, very basic answer, but um, putting my music on your playlist, sending it to your friends, um, interacting with my stuff, commenting, liking it. There's so many artists I realize that I like follow and I never actually have never told them that and never
Mhm.
like reached out and like and I've tried to make that a habit of just like if I like an artist and photographer whatever I try to like just although they might hear it all the time be like I really love what you're doing,
Yeah.
which has helped open the doors to make new friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the best way. I'm probably more active on Twitter. I
Hmm.
realize I read my tag tweets a lot. Um, but yeah, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Well, I love what you're doing. So I want to make sure
Thank
you know that. I love what
you.
you're doing. I think whatever you're up to, it's definitely gonna channel the next generation of music. So I
Oh,
just want to like give you that comment. I'm really looking forward to just continue seeing you grow in your work, and I know you have that new label. I'm looking forward to seeing
yes.
those releases come out with you and maybe some other artists. Just
Uh,
looking forward to whatever you're up to. It's just really cool to just watch you on your journey.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah, of course. I hope you have a good one.